Second part. Page 142. We'll continue with Shalom Aleichem, welcoming in the Sabbath angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bochem, Bochem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We sing those words, Shalom Aleichem. We welcome the Shabbat angels to come and join us as we enter into Shabbat each week. And I like that idea of preparing for angels, these visitors, to come in and be ready for them. And I like also this idea that as we enter into Shabbat as a congregation, that all of us prepare to invite in the rest of the community to spend Shabbat with us. We never quite know who's going to be here on any Shabbat to Shabbat. Some of you are quite regular, but for the most part, it's always this beautiful surprise as we're singing and welcoming in to see all the faces, familiar faces and new faces who come to join us each and every Shabbat. As is our tradition, we want to invite some people in our congregation tonight to open our service with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. And I want to invite Joyce and Barry Silverman to come up on the bima and lead us in a reading before we light the candles. If you'd like to follow along, it's on page 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness remind us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so we may, in our day, be among those who kindle light. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehaliknen shel Shabbat. Thank you. So as I was walking here from the train, I was thinking about how sore my legs are from working out, and that made me think of Shabbat, and how just by coming here, we're exercising the muscle of prayer. I don't think it's necessarily something that comes naturally to everyone, and the act of making Shabbat different, making it a holy time in our week, is also something that we have to practice. And the more you practice it, I think the stronger it'll be, or the more meaningful it'll be, perhaps. So that's what I'm bringing into Shabbat today, exercising our Shabbat muscle. We're going to start with Psalm 95, this Kabbalat Shabbat psalms that lead us from the week into Shabbat, our warm-up, page 130. Lecho neranena l'Adonai nariya letzor yisheno nekadma fanav betodah 134. Zamru l'Adonai. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. Zameru, zamru l'Adonai. Zameru, zamru l'Adonai. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. Zameru, zamru l'Adonai. Zameru, zamru l'Adonai. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra. We're going to turn now to Lecha Dodi, page 138. Welcoming in the Sabbath bride. Oh, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekam ela. Oh, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekam ela. Shamor וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. Verse 2. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם לשוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. Verse 3. מקדש מלך, עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך אהבך. רב לך שבט במקבך, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. Verse 5. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. ולך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקם ולה. We'll rise and face the entrance. Verse 9. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה,
standing and turn to page 263 as we continue in our service with Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, ועלמד יברכנותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון, ובחייתך בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב יאמרו, אמן. יש מרבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשם בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן מעלמא ויאמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. In 265, we read together these words of Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro Ma'ariv Aravim. B'chokhma poteach she'arim, u'vitbuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et hakochavim b'mishmeroteim barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו.
אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה באהבתך. אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, ובשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובפי שעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
Turn to page 270. We'll sing together these words of Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze lianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. V'nemar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov, ugelo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu
As we turn the page once more to page 272, we join in these words of Vishamru.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et haShabbat, la'asot et haShabbat לדורותם מרית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
We'll rise together for the Amidah, beginning on page 273.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha, ufi agid tefillatcha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 279, we'll sing together, Ritzeh.
רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל, ותפילתם באהבה תקבל, ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל. ישראל עמך, אל קרוב לכל קורב, פני אל עבדיך בכוננו, שפוך רוחך עלינו, ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני, המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
I had this wonderful experience this week as I had a number of appointments with B'nai Mitzvah students. It kind of all piled up to this week for various reasons. And each one of them, when I saw them, I said, how does it feel to be done with school? And they got these huge smiles on their face. Amazing, amazing. And I think that there's something about being in those, one of those kind of, I don't know, tangible moments in life when you realize things are really good, right? Summer break is here. It's incredible. We don't always know when we're at those moments. Usually, especially as we get older, we don't get summer breaks unless we're lucky enough to be teachers. But one day goes after another after another. That's what's so beautiful about Shabbat, is that we actually have this moment to pull out of that just kind of, going down the wheel. But if we could acknowledge that each day actually is that opportunity for that moment of opportunity, that moment of excitement, that moment of possibility that is before us, wouldn't that be incredible? Wouldn't that be amazing? Can't always do that. It's hard to live like that all the time, but we do have time each time we gather in prayer to give thanks, to acknowledge the potential that we get to experience each day. And so with that, we're going to join in these words of gratitude, V'al nisecha sheb'chol yom imanu, for all of the wonders that are with us each day. We give thanks. 4 lines from the bottom, page 280.
ועל ניסך שבכל יום, ערב הבוקר וצהריים, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך, הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך, והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם קיווינו לך, מעולם קיווינו לך.
Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace is so important. Think and hold in our hearts for our world, page 282.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
A few moments now for silent prayer. Turn now to page 371. So we offer a prayer of healing, a mishaberach, for those in our community and beyond who we know are in need of healing, whether of body or of spirit. And we share the names of those loved ones at this time, and I'll invite you, if there are other names you wish to add, to do in a moment. We're thinking particularly of John Horgan, Jeffrey Barnett, Mitchell Groper, Judith Losberg, Sherry Matkin, Richard Kozicki, Ashley and Nora Speed, Anthony Brookstone, Denise Huguet, Elazar Ben Shmuel Vidorit, Eitan Paris, Sarah Gibson, Stanley Garfinkel, Maury Dozer, Sherry Fiedler, Frederick Fajardo, Marina, Esther Brower, Shannon Wall, Itamar Ben Root, Reuven Pinchas Ben Zara, Virginia Edwards, Nini Rostaker Shipman, Natalie Wormelli, Claire Golumbia, Carla Zivit, Janet Gelb, David Shlomo Gorney, and Andrea Yarzbiak. And again, I invite you, if there are other people you're thinking of, if you'd like to stand and share their names, to please do so.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom again to everyone. Great to be together. I'll just invite you to, if you have it in front of you, to turn your attention to the announcements. I'll share a few of the upcoming events. The first one is to say, actually, that the first one in your pamphlet is not happening right now. So we've had this wonderful Shloshim Seniors Games afternoon. They're actually going to be taking a break in July. So don't come for Mahjong or Canasta or Scrabble for the next few weeks, but look forward to starting up again in August. Our men's circle, though, is meeting as they do every first and third Tuesday of the month in the evening. The next time will be this coming Tuesday, the 2nd, at 7 p.m. So if you're interested, it's really a very meaningful and small way to connect with other men in the congregation. We have a lot of outdoor activities. It seems like maybe summer's coming. I don't know. We'll see. But this coming Friday night, a week from tonight, there will be a family Shabbat in Grays Park at 5:45 p.m. That will be with Rabbi Dan and Ellie Sherman, who's one of our wonderful song leaders. So you don't need to register, just come bring a picnic dinner. and that's very fun. And then the following week, the 12th, we have our second Shabbat on the beach at Spanish Banks, which is a really wonderful Temple Sholom Vancouver tradition. That will be meeting at 6 p.m. for a picnic dinner, bring your own meal, and then around 6:45 we'll start our Kabbalat Shabbat service. That Friday night there is no 8 o'clock service here in the sanctuary, but next week when there's the Park Shabbat, there is a Friday night service here. So you'll see on our website if you're mixed up like I sometimes am. Our Torah-inspired leadership class that's been meeting for a few years now with Jeff Balin, one of our wonderful congregational leaders, has now gone through an entire cycle of Torah reading, and we are very delighted to celebrate Jeff and that group and the learning that they've done together on Shabbat morning in a couple of weeks on the 13th of July to honor and celebrate them at our service and have a special Kiddush lunch. So we love for anyone in the congregation and the community to please come join us for that. Again, if you can RSVP to help us plan for numbers, that would be helpful, and you can do that on our website. Two other announcements. Also in July, in a couple weeks from now, we are hosting a Shabbat service followed by a lunch and learn with Alex Bourne. Alex is going to share a little bit about their experience in the progressive community and what that's been like kind of with things happening in the world since October 7th. And Alex is someone who's not Jewish but has stood with the Jewish community in this time, and it should be quite interesting. Finally, our next JIC cohort, the registration has opened for that for those who are pursuing either conversion to Judaism or those who are in committed partnerships with Jewish people who are wanting to learn more about partnering and being within a Jewish household. That is going to start in September, as it always does. People who are interested can be in touch with me to learn more information and talk about registration. So this parasha of this Shabbat is one of my favorites in the whole Torah. It's called Shlach Lecha, and it is the story of the Miraglim. These are the spies that are sent out by Moses to scout the land of Israel as the Israelites are wandering in the wilderness to take a report of what they find there, bring it back to Moses and the community so that they can determine what's out there, what's the best way to think about entering the land. And actually, they're given a checklist, a list of questions that they're supposed to ask when they are in the land so that they can understand the situation better. And these are the questions that they're told to think about. What kind of country is it? Are the people who dwell in it strong or weak, few or many? Is the country in which they dwell good or bad? Are the towns open or fortified? Is the soil rich or poor? Is it wooded or not? And make sure to bring back some fruit. So, well, I'll tell you a little bit later what happens when the Israelites go and do this mission. But before that, as many of you know, I am headed to Israel on Sunday. I'm going to be starting a leadership fellowship through the Hartman Institute, and I'll be there for most of July to study the curriculum of the program and learn from really amazing, outstanding faculty there. But this year, more significantly, I feel like I am also going on a mission of sorts to take stock of the country. Not in the same way as our biblical ancestors, of course, but in that sense of being an emissary on behalf of all of you, our Temple Sholom community, our Vancouver Jewish community, to understand more closely the state of the country. So tonight, I actually want to do an unconventional sermon. Usually on Friday nights, I give a very formal sermon. I just talk to you. On Saturdays, sometimes I'm more interactive. But tonight, I actually want to invite you to participate a little bit in this discussion, because I want to get your input on what questions you hope that I will seek when I go to Israel this summer. What are the questions inside of you that you would want to hear responses about from the land of Israel, from the people of Israel, to bring back to Temple Sholom? And I'll take your questions, and then I'm not going to write them down right here, right now, but we have YouTube and a recording, so I'll be able to think about them as I'm there. So I'm going to open it up to you, and I'll add one little extra thing. If you don't want to ask a question, if you have a message that you would like me to bring as an emissary of Temple Sholom, that would be an okay thing to contribute as well. So I open it up to you. What question should we be asking? Joyce? How are the people doing? Anything more specific than that? Okay, great question. I'm going to repeat everything so everyone can hear, and those online can hear as well. So how are you managing with wars? Now it seems like on two sides, right? Gaza and in the north. And how do you deal with that? And if I can add maybe a little bit to what you're asking, if you tell me if I'm right. How do you manage with that and live a daily life? Right? Yeah. Tabitha.
Have you hardened your hearts?
Oh.
Suffering
Very important question, Tabitha asked. Have you hardened your hearts to the suffering of others? That's really a very difficult question. And I think one that's an important thing to think about. You know, how are we managing not just emotionally inward, but outward as well? We think about that, I think, ourselves here in Vancouver. I know I think about that a lot. And I'd be curious, as you are, to know how Israelis are doing with that as well. David.
How would the people of Israel, like us, Jews living in Canada, living in Vancouver, to support Israel?
What are ways that Israelis, how would you want us, Canadian Jews living in Vancouver, to support Israel from here? Right. What are things that they look to us to be able to do to give support? Great question. Honey.
I'm curious, since you have been a couple times now, this past year and last summer, if you sense any change since last time in the general atmosphere.
Yeah, so Cantor Cohen asked about, and this is one of the questions I've been having for myself personally, about how has Israel changed, if at all, since I was last there, which was in December. There was, some of you probably very aware, that there was a group of 8 Vancouver rabbis that we went on a very, very short solidarity mission. I'm very curious to know, now that we're almost 7 months after that, how things have changed, what the feeling is, because it was such a different feeling from any time I'd been in Israel previously, and I'm wondering about that. Am I going with a group? I'm going to be part of a 3-year rabbinic leadership training program. That's a group of 25 rabbis from across North America, a few Israeli rabbinic rabbis as well, from across the denominations, so Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, all together. Mostly learning virtually throughout the year, but twice a year coming together in Israel to study and learn, and it's really very, very exciting. I know many of you through Temple Sholom have encountered the Hartman Institute and the really wonderful teaching. We've done many seminars. Yossi Klein Halevi, who's been with us this past year, is a senior fellow at Hartman. Some of you I know listen to their podcast now quite regularly, so I'm very honored to be able to do this. Anyone have a message that you'd like to send from Vancouver to Israel? How much we care. Yeah. I think that's an important piece of what I bring with me, not as an individual, but as someone representing a community. Absolutely. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. So, how does the parasha end, the story? Well, the spies go, the 12 of them go, one from each tribe, and they bring back kind of a mixed report. It's actually not so good. Well, they all agree that the land is flowing with milk and honey. They bring back that fruit. They bring back these huge clusters of grapes. But 10 of the 12 say that the inhabitants of the land were giants, that they felt like grasshoppers in comparison. And the people, the Israelites who remain behind, they rebel. They get so upset that this is what's ahead of them, that they actually demand to know why God would bring them into a land only to be slaughtered by these giants. They say actually it would have been better to stay in Egypt. Two of the spies, Joshua and Caleb, famously give a positive report. They see the potential of the land that lies before them, and they have the courage and the faith to know that one day they will be able to dwell there in peace and security. I know it's going to be a mixed experience when I go there. I have no qualms about realizing it's going to be a tougher visit than I usually have. But I hope that most of all, that this time of study and encounter will fill me, and by extension you, as I come back, with the experiences of hope within darkness. Because that's, I think, the real message of this parasha, that to be brave and courageous in the face of fear, that indeed is a holy thing. Shabbat Shalom. So we'll turn into our siddurim again to page 586. I'll invite everyone, if you would, to please rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום להשבות על לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We know that in Jewish tradition, that when we come into the sadness of mourning, that we use the ritual of time to help give us a framework for holding our grief and for remembering a loved one. We have these periods of Shiva and Shloshim and Yartzeit that give us that scaffolding. And it's become our tradition at Temple Sholom that when a family comes to this moment of Shloshim, this first 30 days after a loss, to invite them to share just a few words of memory. And so it's my honor to invite Lucy Laufer to share a few words about her brother Michael Livni of blessed memory. It's Lucy.
So if you don't know me, my name is Lucy Laufer, and my maiden name was Langer. And my brother lived in Vancouver we came from Europe still, and we came from Vienna, Austria. So Michael Livni is my brother's Israeli name. And after he finished school here, medical school, he went to Israel. He made Aliyah. He grew up in Habonim here, and my parents were Zionists too. That did not mean that they were happy that this young man went off to Israel at the age of 21 or something. He went straight to Gesher Ziv, which was a Habonim kibbutz, and he was a strong Zionist idealist. He, at the time, was just maybe Zionism was his religion at that time, but eventually he turned to Reform Judaism, and he built 2 new kibbutzim, Yahel and Lotan, in the Arava, which is across the desert from the Negev. It's on the Jordan border. And he built and stayed on this kibbutz to the last year of his life. My nephew, Dvir, Nimi, is right here. I said the wrong kid. My brother Michael had 3 sons, had 3 sons, Dvir, Nimi, and Sivan. They all still live in Gesher Ziv, even though my brother went off and started this new reform kibbutz. And he has, and also when he passed away this 30 days ago, he has a wife, Brenda, and she also tried living in the kibbutz, but she just visited in the end. This was not for her. Anyway, today Nimi is here with his wife, Andrea, and Hadass, one of his grandchildren. And I want to thank Rabbi Carrie Brown for leading a Shiva in my home. I had just about 70 people. My brother is really quite well known. And thank you for coming here and listening for a few words from me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucy. I had the honor of learning a little bit with Michael when I was a rabbinical student in Israel many years ago. As we continue in that place of memory for so many of our loved ones, we turn to the words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. And we share the names of those whose yahrzeit we remember this week or for whom we are in Shloshim. And I invite you, as I share the name of your loved one, if you would please stand as you honor their memory. We're in Shloshim for Michael Livni, Brian David Ross, and Vivian French. And we mark yahrzeit this week of Edith Barnett, Simon Bild, Arnold Bobroff, Sandra Coblin, Ruth Codron, Clara Cole, Fanny Com, Marcus Esquenazi, Bella Fixler, Sloim Fisher, Ruth Fuchs, Bessie Gladstone, Bert Gladstone, Nissen Goldman, Abe Goldschlager, Sholom Holtzberg, Leona Katz, Ida Kay, Boris Korogodsky, Larissa Kozakov, Alan Mandelman, Martin Manis, Leonard Mischler, William Muchnick, David Niddickman, Isaac Parker, Mary Pia Cohen, Russell Lewis Remick, Jack Schwartz, Gladys Shepard, Francis Temple, Jana Timko, Jim Tisdale, Moritz van der Veen, Brian Wetstein, Charles Wormelli, Louis Duncan Zaks. There are others you are remembering this Shabbat. If you would like to stand and share their names, I invite you to do so. We stand together now as one congregation and invite those who mourn and those who choose to join with them in these words. Again, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. Amen. Yehi zichronam livracha. May their memories always be a blessing. Amen. We'll remain standing. We're going to conclude with Kiddush and Hamotzi and a closing song before we invite everyone to please join us in our social hall for an Oneg Shabbat.
Va'erev va'voker yom hashishi, va'yechulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tzevam, va'yechal Elohim b'yom hashvi'i melachto asher asa, va'yishbot b'yom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa, va'yavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i, va'yikadesh oto, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא בריאה גפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Amen. What are we ending with here? עושה שלום במרומיו, יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Shabbat Shalom.